Now don't get me wrong, I love Starbucks sweet cream foam, but if you want coffee in your foam, this is the recipe for you. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Lydia. That's right, I am telling you to ditch your Starbucks foam, even though it is super good and addictive, and I'm telling you to make this. Now this is going to make you a lot of foam, a lot of coffee, and it's gonna bring you a lot of pleasure. This coffee goes by many names. I'm gonna call it Magic Coffee Whipped Cream, but since it goes by many names, I have my notes here, and I'm gonna be sharing them with you. So that's why I'm gonna be looking down, you know what I'm saying? Greek foam coffee, whipped instant coffee, magic whipped coffee, cloud coffee, Macau style coffee, creamy coffee mousse, foamy coffee, frothy coffee, whatever you wanna call it. Let me just show you how to make it. I think you guys are gonna love it. Before I get into the recipe, make sure you are subscribed here. So click the red subscribe button. I'd love it and I'd appreciate it. So thank you in advance. And let me show you how to make this magic whipped coffee. To get started on your Magic Coffee Whipped Cream that only consists of 3 ingredients, you'll be needing instant coffee, some sugar, and some water. The recipe can be found in the video description. I added all of these ingredients to a large bowl. It's actually the bowl of my standing mixer, and I added my whisk attachment to my standing mixer, and then I just went ahead and started beating it on high. Now, if you don't have a standing mixer, you can use a hand mixer. That will work just fine as well. I'm actually beating this for around 5 to 8 minutes. If you're using a hand mixer, that might take a little bit longer. So what you're looking for is you're looking for this coffee mixture to get light and frothy. You want it to kind of triple in volume. It should sort of remind you of a meringue. I want you to keep in mind that it doesn't matter what kind of instant coffee you use your favorite brands, because that's all that matters, you know, flavor-wise. But make sure you're using instant coffee. You can't get away with using regular coffee. I know that I might get this question, so I wanted to address it before you ask away in the comment section. I don't mind you guys asking questions. I love interacting with you guys because you guys have the best questions and the best suggestions. So make sure you're scraping your bowl a few times in between. You want to make sure that the sugar is completely dissolved into this mixture. You don't want this mixture, because it is a whipped cream, you don't want it to have any graininess to it. So I'm looking for it to be extremely smooth. You can test this out by grabbing some mixture and running it through your fingers and checking for graininess. This was perfect, so I went ahead and took it off. Now I'm going to be showing you the texture of this whipped cream coffee. So it should have a stiff peak, just like a meringue. You might be asking yourself what you can use this whipped coffee cream for. So you can use it for your coffees, but you can actually use it to pipe onto cupcakes and tiramisus and other desserts, because it holds up really well. The stiffness actually holds up surprisingly. It doesn't deflate and it stays pretty inflated for a long time, especially if you make sure that the sugar crystals have dissolved completely. So I'm not going to be piping this onto any desserts today. I'm actually going to be showing you what you could do with it with coffee. So here I am trying to be a little fancy by piping this into a piping bag. You could totally use a Ziploc bag, or actually skip this whole process and use like a rubber spatula and spoon this on top of your coffee or your milk or your water. But I just wanted to be a little fancy today. I decided to add it to my, little piping bag that was way too small. So make sure you're using a larger piping bag or a larger Ziploc bag if you're going to do this. And I just added some cold milk to a large glass. And then I went ahead and started piping this on top of it. It does stay floating on top, kind of like Starbucks foam does. But hey, this is better because it has coffee inside of it. But the thing is, it doesn't mix in. So how do you guys like my piping skills? I know they're not professional as of yet, but hey, I'm practicing, and someday I'm going to make cupcakes and they're going to look fancy. Or at least I hope so. Then I went ahead and added some instant coffee and hot water to a glass, gave it a quick stir, and then I piped some of this coffee mixture on top of that. That floats as well on top of it. I think it looks really cool. This is for you guys who do not like dairy in their coffee or just don't drink dairy. I think that this mixture is extremely creamy, although some people say it's not. You could have fooled me. I would have thought that there's dairy in this whipped coffee mixture. There isn't. And then my favorite one was this one. So I ended up piping some of this coffee whipped cream on the bottom. Then I added some hot milk on top of that. And then I topped it with some more coffee whipped cream. And then you can add some, more instant coffee on top of it to look fancy if you're feeling a little fancy. So this is what all 3 of them look like. I know I have 1 mason jar and the rest are glass cups. I wish I would have just used mason jars. And then you can even add this to a little ramekin and eat it straight away out of the bowl. It should be really stiff and thick, kind of like this. It should hold up really well. It shouldn't deflate at all. It should last for hours and hours. So if you're making a dessert, I think this is perfect, honestly. I feel like this is the adult version of slime. So instead of playing with slime, you can play with coffee whipped cream instead. I think it's really super fun and the texture is awesome and you could eat it. Just don't give it to your kids because yeah, they ain't gonna go to sleep anytime soon. I'm just showing you guys now the texture of the foam. So as you can see, I am trying to blend it into the coffee. Now, if you are going to change up the ratio of sugar, instant coffee, and water, you'll get a different effect if you use more or less of each ingredient. So just keep in mind that this foam is supposed to be thick. That's how I like it. If you use less sugar, less instant coffee, or whatever, you might just get a softer foam to it. That's fine too. I've tried that. And if you don't use a standing mixer and you just use like a hand held immersion blender, but not with the blender attachment, with the whisk attachment, that won't whip up as much as this did. So just keep that in mind. I did use a standing mixer for this purpose and this purpose alone because I wanted my foam to be extremely thick. Also, if you give this a quick stir or like viciously stir it, you'll see that the foam doesn't mix straight away into the coffee. As you can see, there is a distinctive line between the two. And here I am playing with the milk one, the cold milk one. Again, you can try to mix it up as much as you want. I also noticed that the foam, if it sits, it kind of hardens on top. So keep that in mind. It doesn't harden too much. I mean, I didn't leave it for hours and hours. You can definitely straight away mix it again and it's fine. But it does harden. It doesn't necessarily form a skin on top of it. So you can play with that. You can use a straw to sip on it. This is really delicious. And this was the hot milk one. And same thing, it's just mixes in a lot easier if it's, you know, hot coffee. The foam will probably mix in by itself after hours of waiting, but ain't nobody got time for that. Here's the brand of instant coffee that I'm using. I got it from Costco and it's delicious. I shouldn't be drinking coffee at 7:09 at night. I had way too much coffee and way too much fun making this for you guys. I hope you guys give this recipe a try. If you have some instant coffee laying around, just try this recipe. It is so good. You're going to want to ditch that Starbucks foam, maybe, because I still love it a lot. But this is a good replacement if you guys have instant coffee at home. It's easy to make, it's dairy-free, hey, and it's so creamy, fun texture, fun to play with, fun to drink. It gets all over your face. I hope you guys give it a try. Thanks so much for watching. I hope I inspired you to make your own coffee at home because it's super good and so easy and pretty affordable. So I'll see you guys next time. Make sure you're subscribed before you check out. Click out. Anyways, I'm gonna let you guys over here. Can you tell I'm on a caffeine load, whatever it's called? Hype. Okay, bye guys, see ya.